Here, Mark. Go on, you have a go. This is for you to win the game, isn't it?
Finals, yeah.
Alright, I'll just finish off this Cobra.
For craft she was weak for love. Oh, how the wild wind blowed her.
Right, okay, I give up, you beat me. Right, what's your plan for period 3?
I'm playing Pete Davis in the final. I've beaten you, I've beaten Zach through the final.
And you got Pete in the...
Davis, so I've set my A1 some work.
Oh, last day of term. Just because you're head of department, you can actually just set the work. I got a lesson with A2s, last lesson of the term. And you know what? I'm struggling a little bit. Do you reckon you can actually help me out?
What's the problem?
Well, basically, yeah. Let's finish this anyways. There we go. Okay, so the problem I've got is, I did a lesson yesterday on how to structure the paragraph, the analysis, the application and the knowledge for a BUSS4 essay like the one above. But what I'm struggling with is that final paragraph, which is evaluation. Now there's about 14 marks out of the 40 on offer here, and it's a really important paragraph if you want your students to move from, say, a B to an A.
Yeah, I mean those 14 marks, you've really got to get them in the bag, and what we're going to do is use this approach at the end of the essay, and it should help you to get to the top level. What have we just been doing on the old
well, you've been playing darts very well. I've been trying to aim for the bullseye but not actually achieving that.
That's right, we've been aiming, and the key to doing a great evaluation for an essay is to use this acronym, AIM.
So you had PEEL before and now you got AIM.
Now we've got AIM.
I know why they call you the BUSS4 guru now, to be honest.
No, it will work, it really will work. So this was the essay title we were looking at, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was something similar to, do you agree that all highly profitable firms have cultures that are similar?
And I guess the big thing about this question, Mark, isn't it, is that you've got to I guess, address the question itself very explicitly in that final paragraph. So what we're looking at here is this actual part here. Do all highly profitable firms have cultures that are similar? I guess the big thing is to try and challenge that phrase there, similar.
That's right, that's it. And at the very end of this essay, we've got to pull this together and make a decision. And if we go through the acronym, basically we're going to answer the question to start with. The first thing I want you to say is, do you agree that all highly profitable firms have cultures that are similar? So what do you think?
Okay, I would say, well, it depends, I guess, really on the industry, isn't it? And I guess
No, I want a decision.
Right, well, I guess you've got to look at different variables though, don't you? You've got to look at, for example, what industry they operate in. You've also got to think about the size of...
Listen.
What?
I want a decision.
Okay, right, I'll give you a decision. Okay, all right.
Yes or no?
I don't think all highly profitable firms have cultures that are similar. I really don't. That's my personal opinion.
Excellent. That's all I wanted.
Oh, right, you should have just said so. You didn't have to beat me with the dartboard.
So I'm doing karaoke later with Liz Charles. We're doing a duet, and I'm just a bit touchy. A bit
all right.
nervous,
Okay, all right, I'll let you go on that then.
But anyway, you've answered the question. You've said, so why is it? You know, we've answered the question. Business cultures are not all similar for highly profitable firms. So maybe just justify that. Just to say something like, you know, they're not all highly similar because we've seen with IKEA, they have a teamwork and a cost consciousness in their culture. So you could bring in some examples to show why that is not the case. So we saw that yesterday that Facebook had a very innovative culture, but it's you know, with IKEA it's a teamwork-based culture, and with different firms they have different cultures.
So basically they've achieved their success in terms of their profit level through, you could argue, very different cultures.
That's right.
Okay, and that's, I guess, what you've got to challenge in the question, and the very strong student will be able to acknowledge that in that final paragraph.
So we've actually made a decision now. We've answered the question. The answer is no, isn't it? Simply, the answer is no. They don't all have the same cultures. Now you can bring your it depends in.
Okay,
right?
So what you're doing here is you're actually sort of challenging it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what you might say in this case is, it could depend on the leadership style. The culture itself will depend. What will it depend on? It'll depend on the leadership style. So Ingvar Kamprad at IKEA, you know, he sets an example for his staff, and that means they're cost conscious. They're basically they're looking to teamwork. All the things come from the leadership style. Same with Zuckerberg. So you could say it depends on the leadership style. Depends on the type of business.
Yeah, you could actually, depends on the type of business, the industry that they operate in. So for example, if a firm's operating in a highly competitive industry which relies on technical innovation, such as Facebook, because they're in very close competition with, say, Twitter and Instagram, although they actually bought Instagram, they actually need to have a culture that's very focused on innovation. And that focus comes from the fact that they operate in an industry that requires innovative culture.
Yeah, yeah. So basically what we're going to say so far is they're not all going to have the same cultures, and it depends on the leadership style, and it depends on the industry that they're in.
So you might actually bring up 2 or 3, it depends on factors, and that is going to move you from, say, E1 on sort of the level descriptors, and you're moving up towards E2. So the band of marks you're available now is between 6 and 10.
And one final thing, just to put the icing on the cake, as I always like to do.
Oh, you do, yeah.
I do love to put that little bit extra on there, is to say what's the most important factor. Now, you know me, I've spoken about these sort of things before, and I always think it's down to the leader.
Yeah, because you've read Terry Leahy's book. You're a firm believe that leadership is the biggest influence on culture.
Tesco's culture came from Leahy, you know, and as I said, with IKEA, it's the same thing. So what I'm going to do is prioritise and say the most important influence on culture is the leader, and I'm going to pull it all together like this. So if you can do all of that, really, you know, you can't go far wrong. That's a really strong end-to-end essay.
I think the biggest thing you've got to think about in that final paragraph is the fact that we're looking at all highly profitable firms. So the examples that you consider in your evaluation and throughout your entire answer have got to be highly profitable firms. So you can, and if you can sort of pick firms from different industries that are all highly profitable but they've got different cultures, then you're actually fully understanding the question and you're demonstrating to the BUSS4 examiner that you've done sufficient research on numerous industries. This last part here about most important factor is this idea that of all your it depends on that you've referred to, which is the most significant factor that influenced your judgment at the start? And that's what we call a fully justified judgment. A JJ, you could argue it's a JJ Okocha. That's what I always tell my students to try and help them remember.
It's going to be a decent size, this ending.
What sort of length are you looking at here?
I would say about 3/4 of a side of A4. You know, it's got to be significant. If you show the examiner that you've done some really good meaty paragraph at the end, the examiner's going to have to give you some decent reward out of 14 evaluation marks.
Okay, and if you can get up to E2, bottom end E3, and as long as you've hit sort of level 4 on your previous paragraphs, which we hope you've done after using the peel technique, which is on our previous video, then you're actually going to be in with a really good chance of getting your A in BUSS4.
That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to practice a little bit more darts. Pete Davis is coming in. I'll do that. Are you confident enough for your lesson?
I think I should be okay. So if you don't mind, I've got to get the classroom ready now.
Brilliant.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay,
see you later. Bye-bye.